Hello everyone. We are going to start a Java bootcamp. The idea behind this bootcamp is to learn Java programming. In this bootcamp, we are not going to talk about any web applications. We are not going to talk about any frameworks, springboot, REST API or anything. We are simply going to talk about the Java programming. This bootcamp would be only for the students who are yet to start with Java, or they are learning Java in their college, or they are in some other development areas and they want to move to the Java. The content of this bootcamp would be mapped with the Oracle certification for Java. So once you complete this bootcamp, you can appear for the vendor certification as well. And it would be really helpful in your job interviews or your college placements. Java is not the first programming languages Java is not the first programming language. There were more programming languages earlier than Java, like C, C++, Fortran, Basic, COBOL. So why we required Java? Now, if I talk about this thing, like why do we require Java, I would have to talk a lot of theory with this. That there was some programming language earlier, there were some failures for that or some limitations which led to the birth of C language, and then C language had some issues. There were some limitations with the large programs, and we invented up the C++ language. And then with the invent of the World Wide Web and the seek of the platform independent programs, Java was created. So this is a very small idea, but we'll be discussing more about like what were the limitations of C language or what were the limitations of C++. Still, like industry is still using up C++. Then like what is the benefit of Java? So all these things also we'll understand we'll see in one of the session. But today we are not going to talk a lot of theory. I'll take you directly towards the practical approach. So we'll be writing up our first program of Java. Now, if I want to write a Java program, there would be some prerequisites. I need some code editor where I should write the program so that I can give that program to the Java environment. Java will run that program. It will convert it in a form where my machine can understand it. So for that, we need to install Java on our machine. Okay. And to download Java, you can use this link oracle.com/Java, and you can download it from this link. So here you will see there are some like different versions. Java SE 8U, Java SE 11, Java SE 17, SE 19, there is Java card. So actually, which version are we going to talk about right now, and what is this SE? Right, what is this SE? So SE stands for standard edition. Standard edition. So this standard edition would be required as a minimum Java to be added for your Java application, or let's say if you are making up a Java web application. So this would be the minimum requirement, right? Java standard edition. This is required by all kind of Java applications. Now here you can see you have version 8, 11, 17 and 19. So version 8 was the version which was developed, and for a long time the development was done on this version 8 itself, right? There are a lot of applications, right? Big number of applications. In fact, big number of applications were developed on version 8. And during that time, right, the Oracle was acquired by Java was acquired by Oracle, and then they had made some plans to release up a version every year. So now you can see there are versions like 11, then there was 12, 13, 14, but they were removed, right? They are, you cannot see that version 12, 13 in this list. Why they are not there? Because those versions were not having a very long period of support. So that's why they have not suggested to keep it in your project for longer period, they have upgraded it, and if there were any projects which were developed in 12 or 13, let's assume, so might be they would have upgraded it to 17, because you can see there is a LTS written along with the version number. So that's a long time support, right? Long time support. In 19 you can see there is not a long time support. Might be with 19, when they are going to release more versions like 19.0.5, might be they give a long time version. So long time support is a version where you will get a support from the Oracle for Java for a longer period. If there are any security patches required, so they would be releasing it and you can upgrade it. So if I want to download any of these version, I need to click on that version, and here you can see the operating system. So you can select the operating system which is in your laptop or computer. So if you are using Linux or Windows or Mac OS or Solaris, so you can select that version. I am on Ubuntu, I'm using Linux, so I'll click on Linux, and here you can see again it is asking for the architecture of your system, like what type of processor you have. So if it is x64, you are on Ubuntu, then you can use the Debian package. If you are on Red Hat Linux, so might be you can go for RPM package, right? So based on the type of your system, you can select the Java package. So I can download this Debian package, I can install it. Installation steps, I will share it in a separate video for Mac OS, for Linux, and for Windows. Okay, so now I will check whether Java is installed on my system or not. So you can open up a terminal, and on this terminal you can write Java -version. So now I see that okay, the version 11.0.12, that is the LTS version, is installed on my system. And I also want to check whether a Java compiler is installed or not. Now, someone can have a question like, what is Java compiler? I don't know what is a Java compiler and why I should check the version. So no problem. We will discuss about the Java compiler also. Okay. So for now, you can just be with me. Let's check if the Java compiler is installed on my system or not. So as soon as you run this Java C command on your terminal, it will show you a lot of options. That means Java C is installed. Java compiler is installed. So if we check the version, it is also 11.0.12. So Java compiler is a separate program, and the one I am checking over here is a separate program. Okay, so these are two programs which would be required to create your own Java programs, right? These are two kind of packages. Okay, let's clear the screen. Now, where should I write the program? Let's assume that Java is downloaded. I have shared the steps and you can install it. Okay, so for all the members who have already installed Java, good. You have checked that Java is in what version of Java you are running. And now where should we write our code? So if you want to write your code, you can write it in a text editor. You can write it in the integrated development environment like Eclipse. Okay, or if you are a school student, you can use BlueJ. A lot of schools use BlueJ IDE, which is a kind of mini IDE, and Eclipse is a full-fledged IDE, integrated development environment, where you can write the programs. It can tell you the errors at the real time, right? Syntax errors. But initially we will start with the code editor, a very simple code editor, or text editor I should say. So you can use Notepad++ or Notepad, simple Notepad, but I would suggest you can go for a little bit advanced text editor, which is Visual Studio Code, right? Now, why I am telling to use this Visual Studio Code? Because it provides certain plugins which will help you to write and debug your code easily. Second thing, it is a very lightweight. Initially I can go for Eclipse also, right? But I don't want you to start learning up Eclipse rather than learning Java. So our main motive is to learn Java. right? So slowly we'll move to the Eclipse also. Second thing, Eclipse is going to tell you a lot of like auto completion of the code, which we do not want at the earlier classes. We want that you should remember the syntax, right? How, where we have to open the braces, where we have to close the parentheses and all other things. Okay, so now I want to write a code, and for this I have created up a folder in my trainings folder in my home directory. So I have created a folder Java, and I'll create a session by session folder in this directory. Okay, so let's drag this session 1 in my Visual Studio Code, or you can go and open up the folder from here also. Okay, so looks good. I have this folder. There are no files in this. Now I want to create a Java program, right? The first Java program, very simple. We will understand the logic or the steps or the syntax part in our next video. I'm going to demonstrate that you can create a Java program. Okay, very simple. So how are you going to create your files for that? So in this session 1 folder, here you can see an icon, or you can create a new file, new text file from here, right? But I would suggest use these icons. This will make it very easy for you and very quick. So I'm creating a new file. I'm going to give it the name as, let's say, hello world.java. Okay, so now this .java is the extension of the file. Once you give this extension, it will be recognized as a Java file. Okay, Visual Studio Code has identified that this is a Java file, and that's why it's showing a coffee mug over here. So hello world.java. Right, now I need to write some code inside this. My idea over here would be that I want to print a very simple hello, very simple message, hello. I want to print this simple hello. Now Java is an object-oriented programming language. Okay, Java is an object-oriented programming language, and whenever you are writing up a program, right, whenever you are writing up a program, the program needs to have an entrance point. Okay, so the first thing is Java is an object-oriented programming language. So whenever you are going to write any program in Java, you require a class, right? So for now, you can understand that class is a enclosure and a kind of wrapper in which you are going to write your code. Okay, but we will talk in very detail about classes, objects, encapsulation and object oriented programming. Okay, so for now I'll understand that class is a block of code, so which I'll give a name to this class, and for now I'm going to give the name as hello world. I'll open a parenthesis and close it. So in this you can see I have to write my actual code. So whatever code you want to write should go between these parentheses. So whenever I'm writing up a Java program, I have to write a class which will be considered as a main class. Okay, I'll call it as a main class. This is just a logical name, right? Don't take it as a specified keyword or something where you start going to find inside the books that okay, I'm not getting a main class. Main class is a class which will run first and which will be the starting point of the program. Okay, so here this class hello world, I have to write some instruction which is going to print a hello on the screen. Okay, so now I need to tell Java that when you are going to read this class, you have to start your code from here, public static void main. And if you see this code, I have written a public static void main, then in parentheses a string argument. Now you cannot change anything from these words, right? This is a format to write your main method. Okay, so what is this? This is a main method. Main class is containing a main method. When I am telling Java to run this program, Java will check, is it having a main method? Yes, it is having a main method. Okay, so Java is going to get inside this main method. And suppose if you write any wrong case for main word or void or static, it might generate an error. For main it will not generate, but for other, for example, if I go and write public as uppercase P, it will generate a error, because Java is a case sensitive language. So these are the words already defined by Java: public, static, void, and here the main should be in lowercase. Okay. So now once you have defined this main method, any instructions that you are going to write inside this will be read by Java environment and it will execute them. So here we want to display a message, right? So that whenever the user is running this program, he will get a prompt, and on the prompt he will see the message hello world, or hello, or greetings, or any message which you want to give. So system.out.println, right? So here if you see, sometimes people read it as print ln. Fine, you can read it as print ln, but actually it is print line. That means print the content and end the line. If you only use print, it will print the content but will not end the line. So next statement will come again in the same line. So here I'm going to write it as print line, system.out.println. So let's print up some message over here. Hello from Java Bootcamp. Okay, so I'm just writing up a greeting message. And now if we want to run this program, we need to convert it in a format so that the computer, the processor, right, the memory can understand this program. Your computer hardware can understand this program, because your computer doesn't know English, right? Computer has its own language, that is binary, and binary is made up of bit, that is 1 and 0. So we need to convert it in that form. Okay, so to convert it in that form, I need the help of Java. I have to give this program to Java and tell Java that, okay, convert it in a form where hardware can read it and hardware can process this print line statement. Okay. Now, in case if you are seeing this X over here, forget about it. This is actually just a template. I have used certain plugins, right? And it is being displayed due to that plugins, but actually it is only a parenthesis, right? Parenthesis, then double quotation, hello from Java Bootcamp. So don't type this X colon, which is being displayed on a screen. Here also you can see run and debug are appearing. So these are options because of those plugins, right? These are just options, mere options. Now we need to run this program. So first of all, I have to convert it in the machine specific language, right? So because Java is something advanced language, unlike C++. So in C++, we directly converted it into an executable file, which was understood by the hardware. But here we will convert it in a middle code, right? Middle code. So I'm going to compile the program. So first step is that we are going to compile the program, right? How are you going to compile it? Here we are going to use the Java C command, and I'll give the file name .java. So this is something which you are going to run on terminal. Let's run it over here. Java C. First check whether the file is there or not. Yes, file is there, hello world.java. Compile hello world.java. So it took a bit of time to compile, to convert that file, right? And now you can see in your code editor, in your text editor, you can see two files. One which you have created, the another one is .class file, which is generated by the Java compiler, right? So here .class file, if you try to open it, it won't show you any output because it is kind of encoded file. And even if you try to open it, you won't understand the content, right? It is having something like junk characters or encrypted, encoded, and then there are some information which we initially used in our program also, like string, okay, print line. So these few things we have used it, but here the program is now converted in a format which again Java is going to read it, right? So which Java is going to read it. So what actually Java will do now, Java is going to interpret the program. Two processes here, compile and interpret. Compilation was done by Java C. So in the compilation, it has converted it into a middle code. So compilation is a process where your source code is converted into a machine understanding code. Okay. But Java is having a two-step formation over here, two-step execution. So first step, we'll compile the program. So this is providing a bytecode. So I'll write it, compile the program to convert in bytecode. Okay, so if suppose someone is asking like what is compilation, right? What is a compiler, or what is the compilation process? So we will not be technology specific, we will not be programming language specific. We will not say compilation is the process to convert your source code in bytecode, because examiner or the interviewer is not talking about Java, right? If he is talking about Java, if he is saying like what is compilation in Java, then you will refer to the bytecode. But if he is saying okay, generally what is compiler? Compiler is a program that converts the source code into the machine code. Okay, and in regards to the Java, compiler will be converting your source code into the bytecode. Now who is going to read this bytecode? Interpret the program. So I'll say interpret the bytecode to hardware. What is interpretation? Interpretation is converting some information from one language to another language, right? So for example, suppose some delegates have come to a country, right, and they do not understand the language of that country, they will bring an interpreter. So whatever the delegates of country A would be speaking, the country B delegates would be listening to it through the interpreter. Interpreter will listen from A and speak to B line by line, right? So interpretation is line by line execution, line by line conversion. So interpret the bytecode to the hardware. So to interpret this thing, I'll again run a command Java, and here class name. Now very important thing, remember in the Java C command we have used the file name along with the extension, but in the interpretation you have to give the class name of your main class. Okay, so if suppose there are 10 classes, among the 10 classes there would be one class which we want to run first, and that one class would be calling the other 9 classes, right? So that one class will be called as the main class, and that main class name needs to be given over here with the Java. Okay, so let's now run this and see if it is printing hello from Java Bootcamp on this terminal. So here we are going to call the Java command. Let's see if there are any errors or something. I think no, everything is good. So Java hello world. Okay, now see the benefit of keeping the name same for your class as well as for your file name. I don't have to bother about like what should be the name while running the compilation, what should be the name while running the Java environment. So it is fine if they are same name, that would be really good. And it is a rule also, somewhere it is a rule also, and that I'll tell you in the next video, that if a class is not having the same name as the file, when it can be an error. Okay, I don't want to put a lot of things in the very first video. Let's run this. So Java hello world, and you can see the output is hello from Java Bootcamp. Hello from Java Bootcamp. Now you have given a very simple output. You have written a program, you have given some output from your program. Okay, now when I talk about the programming, the process, it's very simple. You have to give some input, process and output, right? Input, process and output. Let's see the example of calculator. You are giving input, you are putting some numbers, and then you want to process. You are like you want to add or subtract. So you gave the input, it will process and it will give you the output as a result, right? So right now we have written a very simple program where we have just given some output. We'll see how to take the inputs, where I can store the data, how I can make up a graphical user interface, because writing up the programs here is not very interesting sometimes. But remember, if you are learning Java as your first language and you learn all the basic concepts, it would be very easy for you to learn any other programming language then. And if you're switching from some other language like let's say Python or PHP, and you are learning this Java, there would be some like the logics might be same, syntax would be different, but you may have to be more strict with Java, because Java is a strict type check language, right? So unlike PHP, you cannot take a variable, put some number in that, and then put some name inside that, a string in that. So all those things we'll see how when we'll be studying about the variables. So right now today's session was very basic. Create your first file, right? Write your main class, write your main method, save the file with a .java name and .java extension, and then compile the file, right, and then run the file. See the output inside the terminal. Now if anyone is good with Eclipse, and obviously if they are good with Eclipse, I think they would be good with this very basic program. This is for very beginners, and as we proceed in this course, we would be learning up more concepts which would be mapped with your Oracle certification as well. So thank you everyone. I'll be uploading up this video shortly on our YouTube channel. I would request everyone to please share this with your like college students, the colleagues, right? And if they are learning up Java as a subject, or they want to switch to this technology, it would be really good for them. Thank you everyone.